Take a slow, gentle breath right now. Let your shoulders soften. Let your body hear the message that it is safe to relax. Life is always listening to you, not just to your words, but to the feeling behind them. The quiet expectations you carry in your heart are constantly shaping your experiences. When you assume it is done, you are not forcing life. You are aligning with it. So many people believe they must struggle, push, and prove before they can receive, but life does not respond to effort alone. It responds to belief accepted as truth. The moment you decide that something is already yours, your inner world shifts, your body relaxes, your thoughts soften, your energy changes, and the world has no choice but to reflect that change back to you. Assumption is not pretending, it is remembering who you are. You were never meant to beg life. You were meant to agree with it. When you assume it is done, you stop asking and you start allowing. Notice how peaceful it feels when you no longer argue with reality, when you stop asking how and start resting in yes. This inner yes is powerful. It is magnetic. It tells life, I trust you. Your subconscious mind responds instantly to acceptance. It does not analyze or question. It simply takes your inner agreement and begins rearranging the outer world to match it. This is why calm expectation works faster than anxious effort. Tension says, I don't trust. Relaxation says, I know, and knowing is creative. You do not need to convince the world is already responding to your inner dialogue. Every thought you repeat becomes a direction. Every feeling you sustain becomes an instruction. So today, choose thoughts that say, it's handled, it's already unfolding, it's working in my favor. Speak gently to yourself. Your inner voice is the blueprint for your life. You may not see immediate evidence, and that is okay. Growth often happens quietly first. Roots form before flowers appear. Remain faithful to your assumption, not with strain, but with kindness. Kindness is a form of power. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Simply return to the feeling of completion. Ask yourself, how would I breathe if this were already done? Then breathe that way now. Your body understands certainty. Your nervous system responds to safety. And safety invites results. Life is not testing you. It is responding to you. As you assume it is done, you become a match to solutions you could not have planned. Doors open naturally. People appear effortlessly. Timing aligns without force. This is not magic. It is cooperation. You are learning to live from the end, not chase it. You are learning to trust the intelligence of life itself. Say it quietly within, I allow this to be easy. I accept this now. I am supported. And then let go. Let the world do what it does best, respond. Because once you assume it is done, the world truly has no choice. Assumption creates reality because the mind does not wait for proof before it begins to act. It responds to what you accept as true, not to what you wish might happen someday. Every assumption you hold, whether loving or fearful, quietly shapes the way you think, feel, and behave. Over time, these inner patterns become the experiences you call your life. This is not about forcing outcomes or controlling the world. It is about understanding that life mirrors your inner agreements. From the moment you wake up, you are assuming things. You assume how people will treat you. You assume how the day will unfold. You assume what is possible for you and what is not. These assumptions operate so naturally that you rarely question them. Yet they guide your choices, your reactions, and your emotional state. When an assumption is repeated often enough, it becomes familiar, and familiarity feels like truth to the mind. The mind then organizes your perception around that truth. When you assume something is already done, your body responds first. The nervous system relaxes, the breath becomes slower, the tension of waiting disappears. This calm state is not accidental. It is a signal of trust. In that state, you are no longer sending mixed messages to life. You are not asking while secretly doubting. You are resting in certainty. Life responds to this inner coherence because it is clear and consistent. The subconscious mind does not reason or debate. It accepts what you repeatedly feel and believe as instruction. If you assume success, ease, love, or support, the subconscious begins to filter your awareness in a new way. You notice opportunities you once ignored. You respond differently to people. You speak with more confidence and less hesitation. These subtle shifts may seem small, but they create powerful momentum. Reality rearranges itself to proof these quiet changes. Many people believe they must see results before they can believe, yet the mind works in the opposite direction. Belief comes first, and evidence follows. When you wait for proof, you remain in a state of doubt. Doubt creates tension, and tension delays flow. Assumption removes the waiting. It says, "This is settled." From that place, you stop interfering with the process. You allow life to complete the pattern you have already accepted inwardly. Assumption is not denial of present circumstances. It is a choice about where you place your attention. You can acknowledge what is happening now without letting it define what is next. When you assume a new outcome, you are not fighting the present. You are gently outgrowing it. This inner shift is powerful because it is peaceful. Peace is not passive. It is creative. It allows intelligence to move without obstruction. Your inner dialogue plays a crucial role in this process. The words you repeat silently become emotional instructions. When your inner voice speaks with confidence and kindness, your body listens. When your body feels safe, your actions become natural and effective. You no longer overthink or push. You move in rhythm with life. This is why assumption feels effortless when it is genuine. It is not something you do. It is something you agree with. There may be moments when doubt arises, and that is human. Doubt does not cancel an assumption unless you dwell in it. You do not need to fight doubt or judge yourself for it. Simply return to the feeling of completion. Ask yourself how you would think, breathe, or move if this were already resolved. Then practice that state now. This gentle return strengthens your assumption without strain. Over time, living from assumption changes your relationship with life. You stop chasing outcomes and start expecting alignment. You trust timing without anxiety. You release the need to control every detail. In this relaxed certainty, things begin to happen in ways you could not have planned. Conversations shift. Circumstances soften. Solutions appear naturally, not because you forced them, but because you made space for them. Assumption creates reality because life reflects inner agreement. What you consistently accept within becomes the pattern you experience without. When you choose assumptions rooted in trust, ease, and worthiness, you invite life to meet you at that level. This is not about perfection. It is about practice. Each time you return to the assumption that things are working in your favor, you strengthen the bridge between your inner world and the outer one. And as that bridge becomes stable, reality has no choice but to follow. Calm expectation is more powerful than effort because life responds to clarity, not strain. When you are calm, your mind is focused, your body is relaxed, and your energy is coherent. In this state, you are no longer sending mixed signals. You are not saying yes with your words while saying no with your fear. Calm expectation creates a unified message, and life responds quickly to unity. Effort often comes from the belief that something is missing or difficult. It carries the feeling of pushing against resistance. While action is sometimes necessary, excessive effort usually signals doubt. It suggests that you do not fully trust the process, the timing, or yourself. This inner tension interrupts flow. Calm expectation, on the other hand, says, "I know this is unfolding." That knowing removes friction and allows results to appear naturally. When you expect calmly, your nervous system shifts into safety. The body no longer prepares for struggle or disappointment. Breathing becomes deeper. Muscles soften. Thoughts slow down. This state is important because the body and mind work best when they feel safe. In safety, creativity opens. Insight appears. You make better decisions without forcing them. This is how calm expectation quietly outperforms effort. Effort tries to control outcomes. Calm expectation cooperates with intelligence. Life is not random or chaotic. It responds to patterns, rhythms, and alignment. When you relax into expectation, you align with these rhythms. You allow timing to work with you instead of against you. Things begin to fall into place with less resistance because you are no longer blocking them with urgency. Many people believe that if they relax, nothing will happen. They confuse calm with laziness. Calm expectation is not passive. It is attentive and aware. It holds a steady inner vision without anxiety. From this state, action becomes inspired rather than forced. You act when it feels natural, not because you are afraid of missing out or falling behind. Inspired action is efficient. It moves directly toward results. Effort often narrows perception. When you are trying too hard, you focus on obstacles, deadlines, and limitations. Your awareness becomes tight. Calm expectation expands perception. You notice options, you would otherwise overlook. You hear subtle cues. You recognize opportunities at the right moment. This expanded awareness is powerful because it allows you to respond intelligently instead of react emotionally. The subconscious mind responds strongly to expectation. When you expect something calmly, you communicate trust. Trust tells the subconscious that it does not need to stay alert or defensive. In this relaxed state, the subconscious begins to support your intention. It influences your habits, your tone of voice, your posture, and your choices. These small adjustments create large external changes over time. Effort can create temporary results, but it often comes with exhaustion. Calm expectation creates sustainable change. It does not drain your energy because it does not rely on constant pushing. Instead, it relies on alignment. Alignment feels light. It feels natural. It allows you to maintain consistency without burnout. This is why people who expect calmly often seem lucky. They are not lucky, they are aligned. When challenges arise, calm expectation keeps you steady. Instead of panicking or overworking, you stay centered. You trust that solutions are forming, even if you cannot see them yet. This trust keeps your mind open. An open mind is receptive. It allows answers to surface in unexpected ways. Often the solution appears when you stop struggling and start listening. Calm expectation also changes your relationship with time. Effort is impatient. It demands immediate proof. Calm expectation understands that growth has stages. It allows space for unfolding. This patience does not slow results. It speeds them up by removing resistance. Life moves faster when it is not being pushed. Over time, choosing calm expectation reshapes your experience of life. You become less reactive and more confident. You stop measuring your worth by how hard you work. You begin to trust the intelligence guiding you. From this place, results arrive with less effort and or ease. Calm expectation becomes a quiet power, proving again and again that ease, not strain, is the true force behind lasting change. Relaxation is a signal of trust, because the body only softens when it feels safe. When you relax, you are telling life, without words, that you believe everything is being handled. Tension is a form of vigilance. It is the body preparing for danger, uncertainty, or disappointment. Relaxation, by contrast, is the language of confidence. It says, I am supported. I do not need to brace myself. Many people try to trust with their minds while their bodies remain tense. This creates a contradiction. The thoughts may say, it will be fine, but the body says, be careful. Life responds more strongly to the body's message because it is constant and honest. When you relax your shoulders, soften your breath, and unclench your jaw, you send a clear signal of trust. This signal aligns your inner world, making it easier for outer circumstances to follow. Relaxation does not mean ignoring responsibility or avoiding action. It means releasing the belief that struggle is necessary. When you relax, you stop fighting the present moment. You accept where you are without judgment. This acceptance is powerful because it removes resistance. Resistance keeps things stuck. Acceptance allows movement. From a relaxed state, solutions emerge naturally because your awareness is no longer narrowed by fear. The nervous system plays a crucial role in this process. A relaxed nervous system shifts you out of survival mode and into a state of openness. In survival mode, the mind scans for problems and focuses on what could go wrong. In relaxation, the mind becomes receptive and creative. You begin to see possibilities instead of threats. This shift changes the quality of your decisions and the tone of your interactions, subtly reshaping your reality. Trust is not something you force. It is something you allow. Relaxation creates the space for trust to eyes on its own. When you stop trying to control every detail, you give life room to organize itself. This does not mean life becomes perfect or predictable. It means you stop exhausting yourself by anticipating every outcome. You trust that whatever arises, you can meet it with clarity. Many people associate tension with productivity. They believe that if they relax, they will lose momentum. In truth, chronic tension reduces effectiveness. It drains energy, clouds judgment, and creates impatience. Relaxation restores energy. It sharpens focus. It allows you to act from clarity rather than urgency. Actions taken from relaxation are more precise and require less correction later. Relaxation also changes how you relate to time. Tension lives in the future, worrying about what might happen. Relaxation anchors you in the present. When you are present, you are available to life. You notice what needs attention now, not what might be a problem later. This presence builds trust because it reminds you that you are capable of handling what is in front of you. The subconscious mind interprets relaxation as certainty. When you are relaxed, you are not questioning or doubting. You are settled. This settled state allows the subconscious to work on your behalf. It begins to align your habits, perceptions, and reactions with a sense of ease. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. As life responds with smoother outcomes, trust deepens and relaxation becomes natural. Relaxation also softens your relationship with yourself. When you relax, you stop judging your progress. You stop measuring your worth by outcomes. This self-kindness is not weakness, it is strength. It allows you to recover quickly from setbacks and remain open to growth. Trust grows when you know you do not need to punish yourself to improve. When challenges arise, relaxation keeps you grounded. Instead of panicking, you pause. That pause is powerful. In it, you access intuition and perspective. You respond rather than react. This calm response often changes the situation more effectively than force ever could. People feel safer around you. Conversations shift, cooperation increases. These subtle changes create tangible results. Relaxation is a daily practice, not a destination. It is something you return to again and again. Each time you soften your body and quiet your mind, you reaffirm trust. You remind yourself that life is not something to conquer, but something to work with. Over time, relaxation becomes your default state. From this state, trust flows naturally, and life begins to reflect that trust back to you in visible ways. The subconscious responds to belief because it does not differentiate between imagination and reality. It operates on repetition, feeling, and acceptance. Whatever you believe deeply, consistently, and emotionally, your subconscious treats as instruction. It does not question logic, timelines, or external circumstances. It simply acts according to the agreements you hold. This is why belief is so powerful. It becomes the blueprint for your experiences even before any visible evidence appears. From the moment you form a belief, your subconscious begins to adjust your perceptions, habits, and actions to support it. If you truly believe that you are capable, your mind begins to notice opportunities, resources, and solutions that match that belief. Conversely, if you carry beliefs of limitation, lack, or unworthiness, your subconscious highlights evidence that confirms them, often without you even realizing it. Belief shapes perception first, then action, and finally reality. The subconscious does not respond to wishful thinking or fleeting hopes. It responds to what you accept as true on a consistent basis. Belief must be felt, not merely thought. Words alone cannot create change. They must carry the weight of conviction. When belief penetrates the emotional and physical body, the subconscious treats it as instruction, and behavior begins to shift naturally. Actions, reactions, and decisions all start aligning with the assumed truth. Many people struggle because they attempt to change outcomes through conscious effort alone. They try to convince the world with words, plans, and strategies while the subconscious holds a conflicting narrative. As a result, progress is slow or inconsistent. The subconscious, being more powerful than conscious thought, always wins the silent battle. This is why mastering belief is far more effective than pushing with effort. Effort without aligned belief is like steering a boat against the current. It requires energy but goes nowhere meaningful. Belief creates a framework inside your mind. The subconscious takes this framework and organizes experience around it. It filters your awareness, prioritizes what to notice, and triggers actions that support the belief. When you believe abundance is possible, you start to notice opportunities that were always there but previously invisible. When you believe in your worthiness, relationships, communication, and choices shift naturally. Belief is not about control, it is about alignment. The emotional component of belief is critical. The subconscious responds strongly to emotion because emotion is energy, and energy is a signal. Fear, doubt, anxiety, and worry create tension and resistance, which the subconscious interprets as lack. Confidence, trust, joy, and certainty create flow, which the subconscious interprets as alignment. By consistently feeling the truth of what you want, even before it manifests externally, you instruct the subconscious to support that reality. Belief also influences your body. The subconscious regulates physical systems in alignment with what you hold as true. Energy levels, posture, speech patterns, and even health can respond to deeply held beliefs. This connection between mind and body shows that belief is not abstract, it is embodied. When you believe something is possible, your physiolo, Chi shifts to support action, clarity, and creativity. It is important to remember that the subconscious does not operate under timelines. It does not question when or how things will appear. It only requires consistency. By repeatedly returning to the belief that your desired outcome is possible, you reinforce the neural pathways and emotional circuits that support it. Over time, this creates automatic alignment, and life begins to mirror your inner acceptance. Doubt can interrupt the process, but it does not have to dominate. The subconscious is patient and responsive to gentle, repeated reinforcement. Each time you return to belief, through thought, emotion, or visualization, you strengthen the subconscious pattern. You create momentum that quietly directs behavior, perception, and outcomes toward your assumed truth. Ultimately, the subconscious responds to belief because it is the foundation of inner reality. Whatever you hold as true internally becomes the lens through which your outer reality forms. By nurturing belief with care, focus, and feeling, you harness a silent yet powerful force that shapes your experiences. This is why cultivating belief is more transformative than any external effort or strategy. It is the instruction that life follows, whether consciously acknowledged or not. Belief is not simply wishing or hoping, it is alignment with what you want as if it already exists. When you consistently embody this alignment, your subconscious responds naturally, and your life begins to reflect the truth you've accepted. This is the quiet power of belief. It works unseen, reshaping perception, guiding actions, and ultimately creating the reality you trust to be possible. Living from the end is a practice of aligning yourself with the reality you desire before it physically appears. It is a shift from chasing outcomes to experiencing them internally as already complete. Most people approach life by focusing on what is missing, on the steps required, or on the evidence that something is not yet in place. Living from the end turns this process upside down. Instead of waiting for circumstances to confirm your desires, you allow yourself to feel the fulfillment now, as if the end result has already manifested. When you live from the end, your mind begins to operate differently. Thoughts no longer revolve around lack or limitation. Your attention is no longer drawn to obstacles or timing. Instead, your energy flows toward the experience you want, and your emotions reflect satisfaction, peace, and gratitude. This is important because emotions are the language of the subconscious. By experiencing the feeling of the end result internally, you communicate to your subconscious that this reality is already true, and it responds accordingly. Many people resist this approach because it seems illogical. They say, I cannot feel something that has not happened, yet the mind does not require external proof to accept an experience as real. Your subconscious only recognizes patterns, sensations, and emotional intensity. When you imagine, feel, and act as though your goal is accomplished, you are forming the pattern that life eventually mirrors. Living from the end is not fantasy, it is intentional alignment. This practice begins with clarity. You must be certain about the outcome you desire. Vague wishes create weak signals that the subconscious cannot fully support. When you know precisely what you want, you can imagine it, feel it, and inhabit it mentally and emotionally. Visualization and feeling states are tools to anchor you in the experience. You rehearse success internally. allowing the mind and body to respond as if it is already here. This internal rehearsal is far more powerful than external effort alone because it creates coherence between belief, emotion, and action. Living from the end also changes your relationship with time. You are no longer caught in the tension of waiting or working toward a future moment. NT. You inhabit the fulfillment now. This presence eliminates impatience, anxiety, and the need to force results. When you align with the end internally, external events seem to conspire in your favor. Opportunities appear, synchronicities occur, and people respond in ways that support the reality you are already living inside. The subconscious mind is the key partner in this process. It does not reason or judge. It responds to repeated emotional signals. When you consistently live from the end, your subconscious begins to rearrange your perception and your actions to match the reality you have accepted. You notice possibilities that previously went unseen. You make choices that naturally lead toward your desired outcome. Even habits and behaviors adjust quietly, supporting your inner alignment. Living from the end does not mean ignoring present responsibilities. It does not mean sitting passively and waiting for life to happen. Rather, it is a mental and emotional posture that guide your actions. Your actions become more inspired and effortless because they are coming from a place of alignment rather than desperation or lack. You act with confidence, clarity, and certainty, knowing that the end result is already reflected within you. Resistance and doubt may arise, but they do not cancel the effect if you return to the feeling of the end consistently. Each time you reconnect with the state of fulfillment, you strengthen the signal to the subconscious. You reinforce the pathway that bridges internal alignment with external manifestation. The more consistently you inhabit the end, the more life begins to mirror it. Living from the end also transforms your emotional experience. You cultivate gratitude, peace, and joy even before circumstances confirm your desires. This emotional state itself attracts outcomes that match it because energy responds to energy. When your inner world reflects completion, the outer world has no choice but to follow. You are not waiting. For life to grant you happiness, you are creating happiness as your baseline, and life responds to it. Over time, this practice becomes natural. You stop reacting to external events as if they determine your reality. Instead, your reality flows from the internal state you maintain. Challenges may appear, but they are approached from a place of calm, creativity, and confidence. Living from the end transforms life from a series of struggles into a process of alignment, where results appear effortlessly and fulfillment feels immediate. By consistently embodying the end result, your mind, body, and energy work together to create a coherent signal to the universe. This is the essence of living from the end. It is not wishful thinking, it is purposeful being, and it allows life to meet you where you already are. Your desires, once imagined and felt deeply, become inevitable reflections of the reality you have already claimed internally. Inner dialogue creates outcomes because the words you speak to yourself shape your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and ultimately your actions. Every day, your mind is engaged in countless conversations with yourself. Some are conscious, like planning your day or solving a problem, while others are subtle, almost automatic, reflecting your deepest beliefs about who you are and what is possible. These internal conversations are far more powerful than most people realize because they act as instructions to your subconscious, which in turn organizes your reality to match them. When your inner dialogue is positive, encouraging, and confident, it sends a clear signal that you are capable, deserving, and ready. The subconscious cannot distinguish between an imagined experience and a lived one when the emotional weight and repetition are present. Repeated affirmations, even if initially imagined or aspirational, are treated as truth. This is why people who consistently speak kindly to themselves, focus on solutions instead of problems, and cultivate belief in their abilities naturally begin to notice changes in their external circumstances. Their outcomes shift because their internal state has shifted first. Conversely, negative inner dialogue produces resistance and limitation. Doubt, fear, criticism, and worry act like anchors, holding you back from potential opportunities. When your internal voice constantly tells you, "I can't, this is too hard," or "I'm not ready," the subconscious interprets these statements as reality. It organizes perception to match them, making you more likely to notice obstacles and less likely to recognize solutions. Negative dialogue creates tension in the body and mind, signaling to life that you are uncertain, fearful, or unprepared, and life responds accordingly. Your inner dialogue is especially powerful because it operates continuously, even when you are not fully aware of it. It sets the tone for your beliefs about yourself and the world. For instance, if you wake up thinking, "Today is going to be a struggle," your energy, posture, and interactions naturally reflect that thought. You may approach challenges with tension rather than calm. You may overlook opportunities that do not immediately align with the struggle mindset. The outcome of your day is shaped by the internal conversation you started with. On the other hand, beginning the day with a thought such as, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way," changes your physiological state and perception, creating a ripple effect that influences the entire experience. Inner dialogue also affects how you respond to setbacks. Life will always present challenges, but the way you talk to yourself determines whether these challenges become opportunities for growth or sources of frustration. A positive inner conversation encourages resilience. It says, "This is temporary. I can find a solution. I am learning and growing." Negative inner conversation fosters despair, self-blame, and stagnation. By choosing your words carefully within, you are effectively guiding your outcomes before external circumstances even fully unfold. The body is deeply affected by inner dialogue. Thoughts and words generate emotions, and emotions influence physiological responses. When the internal conversation is supportive and calm, your nervous system relaxes, allowing creativity, clarity, and focus to emerge. Conversely, critical or fearful dialogue triggers tension, stress hormones, and defensive behavior. The connection between mind and body shows how directly inner speech can influence what you attract and how you respond to life's circumstances. Intentional inner dialogue becomes a form of conscious creation. By deliberately choosing affirmations, visualizations, and supportive statements, you are planting seeds in the subconscious. These seeds grow into habits, perceptions, and actions that manifest externally. For example, affirming your competence daily will eventually influence your confidence, interactions, and decision-making, which then shape opportunities, relationships, and achievements. The outcome is not merely imagined, it becomes real because your inner dialogue has guided your energy, attention, and behavior consistently toward that reality. Inner dialogue also sets the standard for self-worth and expectation. When you treat yourself with respect and speak kindly, you unconsciously signal to life that you deserve success, abundance, and joy. Life responds by reflecting this back in the form of people, experiences, and circumstances that honor that belief. When the dialogue is dismissive, self-critical, or doubtful, life mirrors that as well, creating obstacles or challenges that reinforce the negative pattern. Ultimately, inner dialogue is the most direct way you communicate your intentions to your subconscious. Every thought, phrase, and feeling you entertain internally carries creative power. By consciously cultivating dialogue, that aligns with your desires, values, and potential, you are shaping not only your beliefs, but also your behaviors, relationships, and the external outcomes that flow naturally from them. The life you experience is a reflection of the conversation you maintain within. To change your outcomes, begin with the way you speak to yourself, thought by thought, word by word, feeling by feeling. The inner voice is the architect of your reality, and its influence is profound, continuous, and inescapable. When you understand this, you begin to see that your inner dialogue is not just personal commentary, it is a creative tool. It is the first step in turning intention into manifestation, thought into action, and desire into reality. By mastering the conversation within, you master the life that unfolds without.